then you are the one who can actually uh, going to progressively grow from there, because every time you do something new, you acquire a different skill set, and that skill set is something which may not be immediate, but maybe a few years down the line, or maybe uh, a few months down the line, that can actually help you to grow in your career, and build a lot of traction around what you do. So yeah, I mean, any questions, if you have, please feel before I start talking about few other areas. Okay, so
Yes, sir, you can
another,
continue.
okay, sure. So another very interesting insight that I would want to share is, so I happen to say, uh, fortunately, I got that opportunity in life wherein I happened to travel almost length and breadth of India. And that means right from after my 10th standard, I have been away from home, studying in different colleges in southern part of India. Most of my studies has happened in southern part of India, and then moving for job to northern part of India, then coming to the west of India, and being here for a long time now. So it's the kind of say that cultural adaptation that has happened in learning around things, in learning around how people react to things, or you build your interpersonal skills, and build your knowledge circle as well when you interact with a lot of peoples across different states. So that is the kind of say diversity which the culture of India provides, and obviously it also opens an Epicurean say tapestry for all of us, because different parts of India has their own unique cuisine, and I am a foodie. Although I do a lot of fitness and yoga programs and all of that, but I love to enjoy the local cuisines in different places, and that's where this entire amalgamation of things actually helps to not only adapt at different moments and accommodate in whatever I do, but it's more on how exactly to progress. Now, at this, if I talk about, let me bring, I think that's very important to talk about the startup journey that after post my career from the corporate life. So, having spent 22 decades in the corporate, rising up to the occasion of chief marketing officer and leading IT marketing for some of the leading organizations, I happen to get or acquire a lot of skills from these organizations, and these actually helped to not only say build a lot of skills around what I do, but also it helps me to connect with different forums, because as I was in marketing, and as marketing, I always believe that marketing is like a nerve center. So, I mean, if you have ever studied biology, you require like a nerve center is always connected to multiple other things in our brain, right? So, and they are the ones who are responsible for transmitting things to different parts of the signals to different parts of the body, so that we can move your hands, or we can talk and do multiple other things. Exactly like that, I always believe that marketing is at the core of any organization, and that's where my focus had always been to build it from there. And it's a very essential part of growing a particular business, because people build even in startup life, because there are a lot of startups with whom I interact as a mentor, and I realize that a lot of startups have built great products, but most of them where they fail is because they don't know how to take it to the customer, they don't know how to market it, they don't know how to take that particular product or sell it to someone else. So that is where most of the say gap lies, and that is where I think it's important to fix some of those things by skills which is to building, right? And that's where I would always encourage everyone, people who are into say who are into non-marketing or marketing. It's important, like we do hundreds of things in our lives. for 99% of the things we may not get praised. That's okay, but it's important that we uh, need to promote ourselves, which is more important. Focus on personal branding, right? So the more we focus on personal branding, the more we try and build certain things around personal branding. That's where we try and chart a new course of career progression for ourselves, and that is what we should be focusing. And that's what I have focused my entire career span, wherein not only just trying to do my job, because a job comes with a KRA. You have a defined set of roles. You have 10 things to do in your life. Go to office 9, come back, say 9 again, not 6 p.m. but 9 p.m. And then there are 20 things or 10 things that you need to do almost every day. That's like, after some time it becomes like a routine, right? You don't even have to think before doing some of these things. But how do you add a lot of other skills? How do you acquire certain skills? That is where it's important that all of us needs to keep our minds and ears open, so that we learn what's happening around us. We learn what is needed to grow in life. And for example, and a very good case that we have right now, especially from the learning skill, is if we look at, say, from November 2022, wherein we saw the emergence of a technology which is, I mean, everyone calls it artificial intelligence. Now, this is a technology which is not something that has emerged in 2022, or with the emergence of ChatGPT was launched, or OpenAI came up with ChatGPT, and then suddenly everyone was, oh, this is something what we needed, or this is something revolutionary. Artificial intelligence had existed in the diaspora since 1950. And there have been organizations, or even organizations like TCS and Fossil and many other large IT services companies. They have been working on leveraging AI, designing a lot of products or a lot of solutions around AI for their customers. So it was primarily on the enterprise side. But what generative AI or ChatGPT did was it democratized this technology to consumers like you and me. And with this, what has actually happened is that we now have the power that our customers have. So suppose if I say, take an example again of a company like ITC, the same tool that probably a manager at ITC may use to search for certain things or to validate certain ideas with GPT. Exactly the similar technology is with the consumer who may be using some of the ITC products, right? So it's on how exactly the consumer uses it. And that, in fact, I would say, increases the responsibility as well as the challenges for any marketer or any other, say, professional who is part of the industry to service their customers, because it's not just marketing, but the entire organization itself has to service their customers and have to provide them with a lot of and then I mean, provide them with, fulfill their demands, primarily because consumers are becoming more and more demanding right now. And we're moving actually to quick commerce kind of scenario, right? So, and it's like e-commerce to quick commerce is a journey that's happening. So that is where the world is moving. So when we talk about acquiring skills, so AI is one of the say newest skills that has emerged. And if you look at some of the job scenarios also right now, there are new jobs that are emerging into this particular area, like prompt engineers were not any, there were no jobs with a name called prompt engineer, but today the prompt engineer is becoming like a much demanding job, and it is having salaries close to 150 or $200,000 in the US. So that is something which is right now in demand, and that is something which is important for us when we are trying to build our skills altogether. So that's one part of the skilling thing. The other is, if unless we try and interact with a lot of people around us on what's happening in the industry, what's happening as part of different ecosystem that's there, which is more from the developing the people skill. That actually helps us to build the networking part, because especially when people and startups, when they are building their business, it's important to network with a lot of people, connect with them, make connections, and build that kind of trustful relationships with people that would actually not only help them but also help you to grow in your whatever progressive work that you are doing. So these are some of the, say, important skills, especially from the art startup area, which I have been able to pursue and maximize, or trying to cope up with a lot of things around these. But these are some of the things which are essential for all of us to actually grow in life. The other aspect which I would also love to talk about is health. And I would say this is extremely, extremely important. And I realized it at the age of 35. That was like almost uh, 5 years ago, sometime, and that's like, or even more than that. I would say some a little 1 2 years more than that. So it's like, so my journey into health actually started with running 5K first, maybe just starting to running 100 meters, and then to 300 meters, 500 meters, to 1 kilometer, and then primarily from there graduating from 5 kilometer to 7 and 10 kilometer, and then taking a year time to train for half marathon, and doing multiple 21.1 kilometer kind of half marathons in the past. So that is something which became like an addiction, and that's where health is primarily extremely, extremely important for all of us, because unless we are healthy, whatever kind of work pressure or whatever kind of surrounding things that happen, because there are two aspects to it: things that we can control, things that we cannot control. And most cases, things that we cannot control, we are always worried about them. So adopting, say, certain physical activity almost every day, doing, say, maybe probably 30 minutes of yoga, or just walking for 30 minutes itself, that can help relieve all the stress and take away all the tensions, because you have all the hormones in raising in your brain, and they try to calm your senses and help you to make progressions accordingly. So health is primarily, and that's what, after being into the health ecosystem, I realized that why not try and take this to others. So, but before taking it to others, I wanted to have certain certifications and go into a little more detail. So I went on to earn certifications from National Academy of Sports Medicine, USA, and earned my certifications in nutrition, physical fitness, and yoga. And post that, I realized, okay, now it's time for me to just, now why not build a platform? And that's why how Fitarobic was born. And now, I mean, Fitarobic works with corporates to help employees adopt a healthy and physically fit life. And that's what we do. We do a lot of sessions with employees. Our app is almost around the corner, and that's something which we are taking, because health is one of the, especially after COVID, it is one of the biggest, say, priority, or it should be on the priority list for everyone, each one of us specifically. So that's where we, as say, as an organization, Petrobic is working on right now. Uh, Other aspect on, say, the startup, especially startup life, that I want to talk about is trying to, apart from network and building your skills, it is important also to try and learn from what's happening in other industries, because oftentimes we always have a narrow or myopic vision about our business, or we try to just look into one direction, and we don't. While the answer always is within, I mean, within our reach, but we try to look out for answers outside of our network. So it's always important to evaluate, introspect, and try and find answers in industries that are non-related. And I often do that. I because obviously as a marketer that helps me, but I often go to different industries, try and understand, okay, how do you try to solve a problem, or what kind of ideas do you take to market to a certain set of customers who are where you do not have the liberty to put out an ad, or reach out to them. So how do you reach out to them? So that's these are certain things which actually helps to try and get more into areas where uh, I mean, new ideas come up, and then you can try and further build on those ideas, and try and get answers to that. Yes. So, any questions?
As Alokdeep, you nicely explained that how the health is important in the life. So, during among our faculties, we always trying to just create that, first priority is the
Sure.
health, and again, how to promote the startup ecosystem, how to boost that into the students. So, what are the few steps? What would you suggest to our faculties that how they can, create that ecosystem amongst the students? Which steps the help and then to just create that ecosystem into the organization.
Sure. I would say very good question, Dr. Mayoji. And this is something which has always been on priority, because right now I am working with a lot of startups, and also part of a few incubators in India and also globally, trying to mentor startups on in this aspect. So one of the things that I have realized right now is there are a lot of students who are trying to build something or do something on their own, which is absolutely great. And I see this is a kind of change in the thought process. What vis-a-vis 10 years ago, and we see what we see now. And if we have to further build on it, there are certain ecosystems that, including the government, has built a kind of nice ecosystem around us with the Startup India program, Marg mentorship program, and Atal Innovation Centers, and all of that. So, within the scope of these innovation centers and the resources provided by the government, now it's important for all of us to help startups to grow. Now there are few aspects. One is the building aspect, or one I would say even is the conceptualization aspect, wherein what idea that you want to bring to the table, right? And that is where most of the challenge lies, because the some in most cases what happens is we may be thinking, okay, this idea is workable, and this idea can sell to and bring millions of dollars, but that is where it does not, because there are certain facts that needs to be checked. The idea needs to be validated by industry mentors. So it helps startups actually to connect with mentors. It helps startups to connect with faculties and get their idea validated, find out if there is a product market fit. And very recently, I was part of the MSSU evaluation process for few startups which were very early stage startups, and where we were evaluating startups for the product market fit. And there were certain ideas which were great, but again, does that particular idea has scalability, right? Because that's where, I mean, someone who will always want to invest in your startup will always look for scalable ideas, whether the guy can make money. If someone is investing, say, a few $1,000s or few $100,000 in your business, they will always want to see if your idea is scalable or not, if they can make money along with you or not, right? Or so those that's one part of it. So product market fit, is there any need for that particular idea into the market or not? Have you found your first customer? Have you gone and reach out to a few set of, at least initial set of people in your family or in your friend circle who are ready to pay you money for this particular service or product that you have built? And if someone is ready to pay you money for the product and service that you have built, that means that yes, your idea is validated. Now, another aspect from product idea validation is building the product altogether, because that's where idea validation, and then you have to actually build the product. How do you build a product? Because people who are, say, coming from, say, non-tech background, it's easier for tech guys to build their product, and that's why we see a lot of engineers coming out of colleges building products, uh, technology based products, or around it. But there are, for non-tech guys, it's not that since they do not know tech or don't understand tech, that they have to be I mean, they are limited with anything resources. They just need to go find out, maybe a friend is an engineer, go and partner with him, bring him as a co-founder, and get in your things done. So that is how you have to learn to build your channel. That is how they will have to try and reach out to the and bring more people and build their tech. So that's where it has, because tech is the enabler right now, and the more tech you bring into the business, the better it is to grow the business, and the better, then faster it is to grow. And tech is saleable, always saleable. You can always sell tech to an investor. You can get money basis the tech that you have built. So it becomes quite useful. And once that tech is developed, then lies like, how do you actually get your first customer? Because before you and I always believe that it's important for any startup to get the first customer, get some customer buy-in, and then go for investments. Because once you have a customer, then you can always validate. The investor knows that yes, they can not only sell the product, they can also take it or scale it, because you already have gotten few customers in your kitty, right? So that is where it makes sense to grow from, right from, say, ideation stage to building stage to acquiring your first customer. Having a first customer is very important to, before you actually start and go and to investors, because especially the investor ecosystem is changing right now. And I've been speaking with a lot of investors, and the sentiment is everyone wants to see that whether you have a MVP ready, whether you have some kind of revenue that is being generated. Unless you have the MVP, unless you have the revenue show up on in your charts, the investor, it does not entice investor anymore. You may get some investment from someone angel, or maybe your family or friends, to build your product or to invest in certain things, but your startup cannot become like a money burning machine, right? So it cannot be a money burning machine. It has to be a money earning machine. And that is where it makes sense for startup to ideate, get it validated, build your product, and then try and acquire your customer, right? And take mentor's help. Mentor will actually help you. Your entire startup ecosystem will help you to acquire your first customer. I hope that answered your question, Dr. Mayoji.
Any faculty having any kind of questions, so just raise up, because you're having a very good speaker who having a wide range of experience in the startup ecosystem. So I hope that if any of the query will be come their mind, so just feel free to ask them, right? Jinal ji,
Yes, sir.
Jinal, Roma, Sabrina.
Yes, sir.
Sir, okay, I have a question for Sir Alok sir. So, how do we balance if we at all want to start up something how do we balance our work life, personal life, and then the startup?
That's an interesting question. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because even I'm
I mean,
interested in doing something. Yeah.
amazing. No, it just reminds me the way I am trying to balance a lot of things in my life. So yes, I think this is especially for people who are into mid age right now, like us. It becomes very important to prioritize things because we have families to take care of. We have our work life, and we have something that we are building from scratch. So obviously, it's important to set benchmarks or set parameters for us. And see, it's like a journey, is what I have realized. It's not that okay, we start something today and tomorrow it's going to get huge. It's like a journey. It made some startups. We always hear that okay, OpenAI become like $1 billion sensation. Microsoft invested $1 billion, but OpenAI has been working since 2014. It's not that they came back and launched ChatGPT in 2022. They have been working as a non-profit since 2014. It's only that they became for profit in 2022 when Microsoft invested. So that is the kind of journey that we should always look at, because most of us and especially newer startups, younger generation, they are enamored by the fact that okay, you build certain things, you take a product and you get investment, and people will come running investing in your company, and you become a billionaire overnight. That is not how it happens. There have been chances, and very good example I would want to cite here. I read somewhere is like, if you look at Licious when they started, they faced they have I mean they found this kind of, they had trouble in their operational system where they were not able to deliver on time to their customers, and the founder took a very bold decision to shut the operations for few months and then relaunch it again with a different approach, which actually has helped them to capture market share to it, which was completely unorganized. So the good part for us is like in uh, Bharat, most uh, still you e-commerce or retail sector is now organized, or you have IT which is organized, but there are still sectors which are unorganized, and majority part of the business and the money is in the I'm
Hello.
sorry, I think it's
Yeah.
dropped.
Mr.
Yeah,
Alok?
yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Me? Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There was some technical issue, it seems.
No problem, sir.
Yeah, so
Start.
identify those unorganized sectors and try to organize it. That's one from the business side, but from balancing personal life plus work plus startup life, it's important that we set deadlines. We set deadlines to certain things, that because it's not going to happen on day one. It will take time to reach whatever goal that we want to reach.
Think there are some technical issues. Those students who are on YouTube, I would request them to post their queries in the chat box so that the same can be addressed to sir, and sir would be very happy to answer your queries. So those students who have any queries, they can ask in the YouTube live chat box that will be addressed by Alok sir.
Vaishali ji, just take the session ahead because I'm supposed to join another session.
Sure,
Huh?
sir. Sure, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alok ji, continue for the session, right? Thanks for your
Sure, sure.
session.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You can
Yes.
continue, sir. We can see you and hear you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So as I was saying, it's important that we set benchmarks, we set deadlines for certain tasks, and then proceed with those deadlines, and make sure that we don't procrastinate. We don't leave things to chance, or okay, आज नहीं हुआ, let's do it कल or types. That is something that we actually need to avoid, and focus on one thing a day. That's what I try to do. Just focusing on doing one particular activity a day, so that at the end of the day, I know, okay, my work is done, right? And if we do it in piecemeal process, 365 days, 365 new things we would have done, right? And that, I'm sure, that would be enough to take things to the greater extent.
Okay,
I
sir.
I, I
Thank
hope
you. Yes,
that
sir. Yes,
answered
sir.
your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Uh,
Students, if you all
Any other
have any
question?
queries or
yes, yes.
anything, any questions to be asked, you can put it on the chat box.
Alok, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Atharva Kale is asking that if you could suggest any government schemes which will help in building startup for students.
Okay. So there are a lot of schemes altogether right now, especially like if you have already registered your startup, or if you can go and register your startup with an incubation centers there, or with an AIC, and go register, have your DPIIT registration, and with that you can apply for grant to build your product. So Government of India at this point in time, up to 20 lakh is offered as a grant to build your prototype. And once your prototype is built, then the government also offers you up to 50 lakhs or on loan. That's primarily on the debt funding to further your idea and your startup. So that is what you can follow to register and build your startup.
Sir, one more query is there from my
I hope
side.
that answered. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is Dr. Vaishali Kotia, IQAC
Sure,
coordinator
ma'am.
and Dean of Research for Sri L.R. Tiwari Degree College. We have our incubation center over here. And what problems we are facing now as a teacher to motivate students, to yeah, come up with their startups and talk to us. What we have observed is students most of the time either they hesitate disclosing their ideas, or majority of the students they are scared of doing hard work. So how do we as a teacher deal with that, and we can still be able to motivate them and come up with their startup ideas?
Okay. I would say that's a that's a great question, ma'am. Why? Because when I started today's discussed talk, the first thing that I mentioned is there's no replacement for hard work, right? So, however we try, I know everyone is talking about smart work and all of that. That is fine, but unless you slog for certain things, you are not going to reach a particular position. It's I know it's very easy to get enamored by looking at other people or other people's life on Instagram or any other video. But see, no one reveals the true identity or the true things that's happening in their life, right? No one will come on a camera and say, okay, these are hardships that I faced. And we have certain some of the great ones in Bharat for our learnings, right? We have Narayan Murthy, we have APJ Abdul Kalam ji, these are all great say visionaries who have faced hardships in life, and then they have reached a pinnacle of their professional and personal life. So that's how all of us will have to also endure and grow. That is one part. Now, I know it sounds easy for you and me to talk about it, but for students to understand it or make them understand it is definitely difficult. So, one of the things that probably I would suggest is, especially from getting the ideas come out from their side, probably maybe organizing, say, an event kind of thing where let students, and it could not be, I mean, not to be a great a big show kind of thing, but it could be a smaller uh, event which encourages students to come up with ideas and propose it and then try to build on those ideas. It's like they create their entire pitch deck based on those ideas, and then they present it to a select group of faculty members and members from the industry. And one such I think one such thing I attended recently. This was again from uh, a certain school in Thane. I think this is a school wherein there were students from class 8th standard till 11th standard, and I was absolutely surprised to see the kind of say enthusiasm that these young kids have today to build something on their own. Some of their ideas were definitely, I mean, out of the box and very different. Other ideas may not be great, but still they had that kind of courage to come and present in front of industry leaders, talk to them, share their ideas, build their own business plan, and mind you, they are in class 8th standard and to 11th standard. These are certain things which, when we were in school, we never had this kind of opportunity. So the entire, I would say, the way we education system is changing. It's important that some of these things can be also incorporated in the curriculum. That is one part of it. The other, I feel, especially from encouraging students to work hard, it's uh, uh, it's a process. Actually, I feel it's very difficult to pressurize someone and tell them that you have to work hard on something unless they realize that yes, there's no other option left in life, right? So because all of us try to find certain easy way to do things, or try to find a shortcut, but there's no shortcut. It always the long route. So yeah, I mean, I think it's once we start involving students in different activities, maybe make it like a quarterly kind of activity or event, then it becomes very easy for students to get involved, and I'm sure they will realize the importance of such activities.
Very true, sir. Very true. So I hope that students now at least understand that smart work helps, but only up to, a certain limit or certain level, smart work will help. Otherwise, there is no, option to hard work. So I think that is being very clear. There is one more question from Sujal Hegde, who asks, what are the key factors to consider when choosing a co-founder for your startup?
Very important question if you're building your startup, because one of the things that you should consider is that you have compatibility with your co-founder. It's not just don't go for because somewhere someone is in your class, or someone is that you like in your network, and then you thought, okay, let me just try and bring that particular person as a co-founder. No, that should not be the approach. It should be always be that you find that the person is having the same zeal and enthusiasm and is wanting to be in the same boat as you while building this startup, so that both of you put equal effort when you are building this startup. Because it cannot be just a one way street, because you will continue to work. It cannot be like your co-founder comes and does nothing, or just even though they have a say lesser equity in the firm. It has to be always a joint effort, and try to find out a co-founder who brings complementary skill. Don't There's no point in bringing the person who has a similar set of skills, because if you can do a certain work, why not try to get, say, a co-founder who is probably, if you're not a techie, we get a techie co-founder so that you can work with them, and it's easier to build your product. So try to find co-founders with complementary skills, and see, I mean, today there are options also available where co-founders come, investors come as co-founders. So that is another option, because investors bring money into your business. So that's another great option available to you to build your business, and your prototype. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sabrina ma'am, will be asking few more questions from the student side. Sabrina ma'am.
Yes,
Sure, please.
yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Sir, we have one question from Trisha. She says, how to keep yourself motivated when we do not achieve success initially?
Okay. It's again a very, very good question, because see, I mean, success never happens overnight, right? And especially when you're building a startup, it's not that you will become successful just you have your website, or you reached out to few clients, or maybe even you get few clients, you are well off. It never happens that way. It's a process, as I said. It takes years to reach to a certain level, and very good example that I cited was of OpenAI, right? They started way back in 2014, and then it's only in 2022 that they become for profit, and then they got $1 billion investment. So, and that's scenario with most of the startups. They work for years. It takes at least 7 to 10 years for a startup to realize, and there are still many organizations which have got investment, and they are still struggling with lot many other things, because it's not just about getting investments or trying to do marketing, or building a lot of things. It's about how do you compete in the market, how you stay relevant in the market, because that you are not the only one who's building that product or service. There are multiple other people around in the ecosystem who are building similar products, similar services. So you have to continuously innovate on a day-to-day basis. You will have to continuously interact with industry, try and understand what's happening in the industry, so that you remain relevant and important to your customer. To challenges that you will face, especially in initial years, there is they see that you can if your goal is to build your startup into a successful startup, you should just take it as part of the journey, right? It's part of the journey. You cannot uh, get away from it. There is no escaping from it. Even if you get $1 billion investments, trust me, you will have initial set of troubles. Or even, like, because $1 billion, even Microsoft lands into troubles, right? Even Google discards hundreds of the product that they build every year. Out of that, at least 98 product fails. Right? You don't see lot many products in the market. There's only one or two products that actually becomes a success. So that is how businesses run, and that is how most of the best businesses in the world have survived over the years. So it's about pivoting. It's, if something is not working, let's just pivot to something else and try and see what works. Because your ultimate goal is not to just get success in few things, right? It's like a journey. You have to every day innovate in what you are doing, innovation in your business model, innovation in your product, innovation in your thought process, and try and attain that journey. Maybe it could take, to some it may take few years, maybe 2 to 3 years. To others it may take 5 to 7 years. Others it may again take 15 to 20 years as well. So it's a long journey, and focus that yes, at the end of the day, you have to continually build your business and survive, right? So it's all about a game of persistence and survival. So don't expect immediate results.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. There is one more question from one of the professors of LR Tiwari College. He says, how to maintain balance in retaining existing customers and acquiring new customers in new startups on which we have to put more effort.
From startup perspective,
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
onboarding new customer itself is a big challenge. Now retaining customer and maintaining a balance between or getting new customer is this is another set of challenging area where it see one of the aspect is when you get a customer, it's established that the customer trusts you, right? They once they trust you, they give you their business. That is one part of it. Now, how do you try and leverage this connection to not only onboard other set of customers, because you have a logo now, you can take this logo and go to other customers and get other logos or a buy-in from other customers. But at the same time, how to maintain that kind of relationship? See, it's not like a, it's not like a one-time kind of relationship that you enter into with a customer, right? If you have to, whatever be, whether we are a D2C or a D2 B2B or a G2G or a B2C business, you will continuously have to have probably. I mean, if you're a B2B, you need to have someone who can continuously focus only on building relationship with your existing customer. And if you are short on time or if you do not short on resources, then you will have to find some time, or it does not require a lot many things. It's more about maintaining relationship with old and new customers. So you will need to maybe just drop or have a meeting maybe once a month, or maybe drop some kind of note to that customer every week, and exchange some pleasantries with them, just to understand what's going around in their business, whether they are uh, happy with the way things are, or what exactly they would want, and all of that. So see, those are the kind of conversations that actually would keep your customers, existing customers, happy, and they would feel that yes, I am working with someone who is a responsible business, and then they are interested in my business, in betterment of my business. Because ultimately, someone who gives you business also is giving you because they trust you to help them to build their business, right? And that can only happen once you build that kind of trust. So it's not a one time relationship. It's about um, try to connect with them and interact with them as much as possible till the customer starts to understand, okay, uh, daily baat hona zaruri nahi hai, right? It does not cost much, it does not take much time as such. So that's the only way I would say, it's just especially in a startup case, when you do not have a lot of other team members who can take care of a particular function or drive only those things. If you are a sole co-founder, or maybe have one or two people and everyone is busy, then try and build that relationship yourself and be the face of the organization. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, sir. So we have one more question from Rajesh Lakshman. He says, is there any process to change the mindset of students from job seekers to job creators?
Process, I don't think there's any process altogether like that. But how to from becoming, say, a job seeker to a job creator that is something. See, I think it depends on multiple factors actually. Like I would say in my case, like in 20 years ago, there were not much. I always had this vision to start something on my own at some point in life, but I did not know when. I thought, okay, let me do it after 10 years. But then I realized, okay, I do not have enough resources at that point in time to do something on my own, right? So I waited for another 10 years. And when I was ready, and even taking this step, then I thought, okay, now I am ready to take that kind of risk in my life to build things again from scratch. So I jumped in, right? So it's all about how and when you take that kind of risk, or when you are ready to take that risk. It varies from person to person. It's a very individualistic choice. Second, it's wrong to say that, okay, I mean only that you have to do build your own business. Okay, there is it's nothing like that. If you want to gain some experience working with organizations or being a job seeker for a few years, always helps you to learn a lot on how to do things or how to get things done from others. And there are multiple other skills that will you will acquire other than technical skills while you're in a job. So doing a job also helps. It actually gives you helps you to learn about business and different aspects that you would face while you do your startup, right? So that it your startup journey actually smoothens. If you have been in business for have been in job for some time, it actually smoothens because you know what challenges will come and what are the things. And other things is, as I said, it's about focus on building more skills while you are in the job. Now if you want to inculcate say a job creator mentality in someone, it's important that you provide them that kind of ecosystem. Like if you look at the US economy, you can set up people in colleges can set up were able to set up their startups immediately, right? And that is a similar thing that is happening in India with the launch of Startup India programs in 2017. So we once we have this kind of support from the government, which is government is saying, okay, I'm getting you the business, I am giving you the working space, I am giving you funding to build your product, to take your product to the market. Now come and build your startup, right? So that is something which is a stark change that we see 10 years ago versus now. And then this is a positive step in our say startup journey, because now we will have or we are seeing more and more students and as I said gave this example of students in working in studying in class 8 standard to 11th standard, now they are thinking about building their startup, right? So it's the kind of change that we needed, and that's where we already have taken a positive step. So if the ecosystem is around us is supportive in nature and encourages that yes, you have to do something, you have to become a job creator, nothing like it, nothing like it. uh, People like Dhirubhai Ambani and all did not have an ecosystem around them. They built their ecosystem around them, right? And they did it on their own. But now we are fortunate that that ecosystem is available around us, and then government is also contributing to it. And then there are a lot of uh, innovation centers, incubation centers, mentors in the industry who are available to for assistance and help that is needed by startups. So I think connecting with them, talking to them definitely would help to change that kind of mentality from a job seeker to a job creator.
Yes, sir. So no more questions, sir. There are no more questions. So yeah.
Right. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and it's a pleasure interacting with you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. One second. We have vote of thanks to you, sir.
Hello,
Sure, please.
good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Roma Ahuja, on the behalf of the Research, Innovation, Incubation, and IPR Cell of Sri L.R. Tiwari Degree College of Arts, Commerce, and Science, to deliver the vote of thanks for today's insightful session on My Story Motivational Session by Successful Innovators, a grand success. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Alok Ranjan, CEO and co-founder of Turan Advisor. Sir, your inspiring journey and the insightful words have undoubtedly left a deep impact on all of us. Your story of determination, innovations, and the leadership has motivated us to embark the challenges with the confidence and think creatively to turn our dream into the reality. I extend my sincere thanks to our respected Principal Sir Dr. Sanjay Mishra for his unwavering support and the encouragement. Sir, your guidance and vision have been instrumental in fostering an environmental where such a meaningful and impact session can take places. I would like thank you to Dr. Mayur Dubey sir Director, Incubation of Rahul Education, and a special thank you to management for their continued support and the encouragement in organizing such enriching events that inspire innovations and learning. I would also like to express my gratitude to the organizing committee for their tireless efforts in coordinating this event so seamlessly in an online mode. Your hard work behind the scenes ensured the success of this session. Lastly, a big thank you to all the participants, students, faculty members, and the guests who joined us today. Your presence and active engagement made this session meaningful and dynamic. Once again, thank you all of you and have a great day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Alok. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.